Not ready.
Even if we're not ready.
If we're not ready. Hello. It has been a long time, friend. In fact, this video is actually long overdue.
Long overdue.
We should have sent this to you a month ago. So we're a month behind. And so we're going to try to make this like short as possible, but maybe moving forward, we're going to try to maybe send videos more often so that they're not so long and we don't have so much information and stuff to share with you. But thank you so much for watching along with us and following along in our journey. And there's a little growling behind me, but
we're safe. It's our dog.
Yes, but we want to welcome you to our spring edition of our newsletter, and we're actually in the same campground as the last time we spoke. Coming to you from Canyon Lake, Texas, which is just north of San Antonio, and it's a beautiful area full of lots of people who love to tube down the Guadalupe River and fish and all the things, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So we have some things to share with you, including some taller boys and some amazing miracles and experiences, as well as some prayer requests and praises. So stay tuned with us for a minute.
All right.
You want to share?
Yeah, we got a staff meeting. So last time we talked to you guys, you remember Amy was about to start a process of going through and working on Buteyko certification, and she
I'm officially certified.
is now officially certifiable, certified, and it was a really interesting process, just going through the whole thing and seeing it. The last part of her certification, she had to get some clients that she used as little guinea pigs and work on them. And it's interesting because you think you know breathing. You know, I was an athlete for a long time. And you think you know breathing and you think you're pretty good at it. And then you learn about breathing and you realize I'm not good at it at all. And so going through that process with her, I learned how to breathe all over again. What it means to breathe correctly and how it is, what I was doing that was wrong breathing, and how it could lead to all kinds of health issues, mental issues, all the above. So the Buteyko certification has been really a great addition to our family, honestly. And it's been pretty cool to see how we're able to help other people with it as well. And just simple little things that you can do on your own time while you're driving or reading or anything else. So it's fantastic. Highly suggest you look into it a little bit more. Buteyko, and reach out to Amy if you've got more questions about that one. That's a big one.
Yeah, we're working on a landing page for that on our website, but we don't have that completed yet. So, but in our homeschool journey these days, we have recently been focusing on a botany unit, and this is actually the curriculum that we use, called Gather Around, and this is our botany unit that we've been working on recently. And my favorite part about it is, well, first of all, I love this Gather Around because it's designed for you to gather around your whole family and be able to do school as a family. And so actually our botany unit, everything including language arts, Bible,
math,
science, social studies, history, all of it is combined into the overarching theme of botany. And my favorite part about this one is that when we've been studying about trees or roots or stems or flowers, we've been able to also gather up our essential oils that come from those parts of the plants and talk about what those particular parts of the plants and their essential oils have to do with health benefits for ourselves, either emotionally or physical health benefits. And that's been really kind of a fun thing to add on to our botany as we've been studying we're finishing up studying about moss and ferns and weeds and all kinds of things. So anything you guys want to share about this unit or homeschool lately?
Micah, what do you got for us?
This is awesome.
Oh, do you want to share? Oh, you don't have it with you, your actual botany book?
I do.
Oh, you do? So this unit, yeah, what have you guys been doing?
You have to make your own botany book, and every day you will write a little page on like the subject that you were talking about. Like we were talking about
Hand-drawn.
The saguaro.
Saguaro.
Yeah.
Cactus.
Which we haven't seen any lately, but we've seen a lot firsthand in
Arizona.
in Tucson and Scottsdale and those kinds of places, but we haven't seen any firsthand lately, right? Yeah. Anything else you want to share about the...
What's your favorite part about it?
My favorite part about it is everything.
Ah, the good old everything answer.
Micah is a learner at heart, so really anything that's got to do with learning and putting more knowledge into his brain, he is very much about.
He's on board.
Yeah. So do you want to share about some other things that have been going on kind of
Thank you, buddy.
in your life and some tools and miracles that have been happening?
Yeah, so I kind of started a few years ago with a dentist visit. Had an issue where I had a panic attack, and long story short, we'll give the short version. So started having panic attacks on occasion, most of the time when I was sleeping. So I would wake up and I had sleep apnea, so I would wake up and I might have had some sort of an episode, and it would set me off in a panic attack, and I might not go back to sleep all night, even though I'd only been asleep for an hour or 30 minutes. Or a couple of hours. And so we started using the Buteyko things.
The Buteyko tools have been a great source of help for Jim during that. Yeah,
talk about timeliness. The just you can say that maybe the stars aligned, but we know that there was a one orchestrating the timeliness of it to bring this into our lives at the right time. To help, and that's helped me quite a bit with my breathing in general, but then also during those panic attacks to be able to help me calm down, to help me refocus, to help me get myself in a better place so that I could go lay back down. Had a couple of people that we know that were able to kind of talk me through some different things, and so it's been a blessing because we've seen the Lord then, even though it was almost nightly at times, and sometimes it was nightly, that I've been able to, God just kind of brought me through it. And so being able to sleep, you never realize how big a deal it is to sleep all the way through the night until you haven't slept all the way through the night. And so it's been awesome to see, the first morning that I woke up, and in the morning when my alarm went off and didn't wake up, multiple times through the night or just once through the night and never go back to sleep. Amy just rolled over. She went, "You're still in bed." She was so excited, and I was excited about it. But it's been amazing to see, and we're so grateful that the Lord's kind of brought more healing into that. I still occasionally deal with it, but now I feel like now there are more times when I feel like God is trying to talk to me about stuff, and so spending time praying and reading Scripture and talking to the Lord about things instead. So.
Well, God was able to use a lot of tools that we've had. We're always bringing in our tools and wellness tools and things that we can use to try to help address some of those things. But but even God used people to help him release some trapped emotions that were triggered in that crocodile brain, that from those like a trauma, the episode that had happened at the dentist, that just kind of kept resurfacing. And so we know that that's still kind of a journey, because eventually he will need to go back and have those mercury fillings removed, but it will be a pleasant experience, because God is going to walk us through that, and we're going to know now better how to prepare for that, right?
Yes, yeah, for sure.
But speaking of, all of that is airway related. Speaking of, we're always doing things related to the airway for the Miller family, and so Noah went through his next step, his next phase. Where are you, Noah? In his airway adventure, right?
So we talked
airway
about him
adventure,
getting,
right, Noah?
talked about him getting braces. Noah, tell us about the MARPE.
So he still has braces, but now he has something else.
So, I have basically...
Can I pause you for just 1 second? You may notice his voice is a little different than it was last time you heard
His
him
voice
talk.
might almost match Jim's now.
So, basically... Thankfully, his hair is much cooler than mine, though.
Well,
so,
our friend, as you're watching this video and you heard Noah speak, you were like, what?
who that?
Who is that speaking?
All right, I'm sorry,
Okay,
Noah. Go ahead.
Go, Noah. It's okay.
Anyways, so it's an appliance attached to my teeth, my back molars. And then there's 4 screws that go into my palate. They're drilled into my bone up here. And what they're doing is they, after the first day that I got it, in the first 2 days, it broke that bone right there, and it started spreading my, the top of my mouth apart and making it wider.
And what have you gone, they measured
So-
the width of that gap. And what was it originally?
It was originally 5 millimeters, and now it's 21 millimeters.
So in mouth world, that's like a huge expansion. And the goal for that is, for those of you maybe who are unfamiliar with airway stuff, thank you, Noah, for sharing. Thank you, Noah, for sharing.
Thank you.
Did you want to show it from far? We don't want to look inside your mouth, but just
Give us a look-see.
I mean, you could smile and then smile.
It's right there.
Smile. His 10 grin. But the goal is to enlarge that and expand that airway so that he sleeps more easily, and that all of the oxygen is getting to his brain at night instead of being cut off by that oral structure being too small, and the tonsils not being too close, and then no longer grinding his teeth because he's not trying to open up his airway. I think we might have shared in a video before that a lot of times teeth grinding is seen as stress, but actually most of the time it's related to sleep apnea, and it's actually an airway issue where your body's trying to resuscitate itself. So so our goal for that is better sleep, better sports performance, better school performance, in all of those, just kind of snowball effect from those things. So so we're on the kind of the home stretch for him with his MARPE, because it should be coming out in the next few months, we think. And so but then we didn't even mention that Asher also just started his next phase of the airway journey, and he got braces. And we told the twins that they can tell each other apart now. Actually, we'll show Asher in just a minute. Jim's going to share a little bit about our baseball, and then Asher can show his next.
His 10 grand. We're paying for all kinds of braces. It's so great. So it's baseball season, which growing up in the Miller house was an annual rite of passage. It was
Not the Overstreet house.
3 boys on 3 different teams all over the place. I don't even know how my parents did it. Honestly, I don't know how my parents did it. And so this year we've been able to play in Canyon Lake, in the Little League in Canyon Lake. I've been able to coach the Twins team and help out with Noah's team as they've had their practices and games. It's been such a blessing to see. Every year we pray about that and ask the Lord to put together a good group of people. And we see how the Lord has really challenged Noah to step up and be a leader in his group.
As the only homeschooler, too.
Only homeschooler in his group. And so he has really been challenged by us and then by his environment. And it's been awesome to see him respond to that in such a great way. We've seen the twins. Their group has just been this fantastic group of kids that we've all gelled and had a really good time together. And that's been a lot of fun. We've really built a lot of relationships, and we see how the Lord has orchestrated some stuff. We learned more about how the Lord orchestrated that. I was even the coach of the team because there was another guy that was lined up to be the coach for that team. But then he decided he was going to go have his kids play in a select team instead. And when he stepped away, that opened the door for me to come in and be the coach. Or we would never have been in this situation. It's a remarkable thing that the Lord has really done a lot of things to work in. But we want the boys to talk about baseball season from their perspective. And then I want Mom to talk about it from the mom perspective, mom/wife perspective. We didn't say we were going to do that. But all right, Noah, come talk about Asher. And then Asher and Micah, y'all line up so that we can bust through this. All right, so Noah is going to share about Asher's season briefly. Ready, steady, go.
Asher tried pitching this year.
Yes, for the very first time. He's never done it before.
And
He did well for the first inning. He got
how well?
He got 2 3-pitch strikeouts, and then on the third pitch of the second batter, he got a ground out.
Just
No, that's awesome. That's awesome news right there. So he had
That's supposed to be good.
almost an immaculate inning for his very first inning ever pitching. He did fantastic. Okay. All right. And then what is the name of his team?
He's playing on the Yankees.
the Yankees.
We all died when we found out that was the team we were going to be. But it's all good. All right. Noah, well done. Asher, your turn. Tell us about Micah's season.
I think Micah's had a
So
great
this
season.
is Asher talking about Micah. Make
Yes.
sure we know who's who.
I think Micah's had a great season. He's been mostly playing third base, but also he's been playing shortstop and everywhere else.
Uh-huh.
And
The way their dad
he's
coaches,
been
they all
doing-
play everywhere. Uh-huh.
he's been doing pretty good hitting wise
Yeah.
and very good fielding wise.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Micah, talk about Noah.
Noah,
The big
is
kid.
on his team, the leader in strikeouts and ERA.
Yeah.
And he's overall had a really good season as
Yeah.
opposed to the other kids on his team.
Well, he is also, we think he's the oldest on his team.
Or maybe second oldest. There's one other kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty
Yeah.
close.
So he has had lots of learning lessons on his team this
For
year,
sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of learning lessons. So
Thank you,
awesome.
boys.
Thank you.
All right,
Well-
Mama, talk about the mom perspective.
Well, and seeing how this is the second year that we've been able to try baseball, and you guys know that when I met Jim, he was not in the baseball world anymore, even though that was basically his life before we met.
Mhm.
And so so this has been all new for me. I did not grow up in a sports household. It was all music. So so this has all been new for me. I've been learning baseball. I'm in learning mode.
She's actually doing really well at it. She can tell you all kinds of stuff that she would never have been able to tell you before.
So I'm learning baseball,
Uh-huh.
and it's been a blessing to see Jim in this new light. I kind of saw it for the first time last year in baseball, but once again, Jim is head coaching the Twins and then assistant coaching for Noah's team. And then, of course, he's still doing private lessons about 30 minutes from here in New Braunfels. So it's baseball all the time for him right now. But this has really become a really great ministry tool for us in so many ways. I cannot tell you how many ways God has brought in opportunities for us to do evangelism and discipleship, and from the fact that we are the weird homeschool family, or the fact that we're also the road schooling family, or the fact that we just do things differently, we're weird and crunchy, or just all kinds of ways that God has been putting us in situations to even deepen our walk with Him, or plant seeds and be a blessing to others. And so I'm really thankful for baseball, and we're excited to see how maybe God's going to expand this even more, and what God's going to do even more, because we're learning that that our oldest is in love with baseball and wants to pursue it more. Well, it's hard to do that when you're traveling full time. So we continue to ask God. We know that you guys have been joining us in prayer as we've been asking God for land to steward and to do that. And so we want to be able to provide our oldest with more opportunities, because that's what he wants to pursue, and really feels like that's what God's calling him to. And so we're just praying and asking God to provide those opportunities for us to be able to do in one place. But I think, as we mentioned before, our space in our RV continues to stay the same, but everyone in the RV keeps getting bigger. So naturally the space keeps feeling smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
But another cool opportunity that has presented itself is in January. Asher, do you want to come up? In January, the campground hosted a kids market where the kids could make something, and so Asher decided he wanted to make some drawings of some pets and sell those at the market. And you did, didn't you? And how did you do?
I got $22 from it, and I thought I did pretty well. And now before this, while I had been drawing one of my doing one of my drawings, I was at Noah's baseball game, and one of the parents on the team saw it and was very impressed.
Saw the drawing that he was doing of somebody's cat for them.
Or dog,
Yes, and was very impressed. And actually, it wasn't somebody's cat for them. I was just drawing one of the things for the Makers Market.
Oh, there you go.
And then later, she asked me if I could do a drawing for her for lots of money, and I was very surprised and very excited. And right before that, I had been doing another job for more commissioned artwork, and I've been doing a lot of commissioned artwork stuff, and I'm in the process of starting to make that a big business. Well, big being a relative term. And I'm making business cards and things, and I'm making a portfolio, and well, that's one of the things that I'm going to put in it. And
so
I don't have any other examples right now.
So I was never artistic at all, but he just kind of knocked this out the other day. And the drawing that they had him do for the baseball team was really very sentimental.
It was a really special reason.
It was a really special thing. And when Noah gave it to her, she was really emotional. And then when it was really an honor. And it's amazing how God has given him a gift that he has gifted other people with. It's been really cool for us as parents to see and to watch that happen. So
well, and so I think as a general rule, he enjoys drawing pets and animals, but he has had a commissioned art piece of people, and he learned a lot from that. I think he had to redo it from the start 3 times. As different obstacles came in front of him, and learned a lot from it. Even down to the framing of it, he learned lessons from it that he's not going to make the same mistakes again. But it was a really, Asher was such a blessing to that family, and I think, and obviously this was a blessing to him because he was not expecting this kind of financial provision for it. But yes, it was a very sentimental piece, and it was to a family of people who are not believers, and so it was a great opportunity for him to be able to represent Christ in that situation. And so, and he might even get to meet the lady that he drew the piece that's in the piece that he drew. So
and about those many mistakes, there's a bunch of things, but there's a lot of things that that are it's very interesting. You never notice it unless you try to draw it. But the slightest millimeter change in the lips is an entirely different expression.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
He worked really hard on it. I'll high five you.
It was good work, buddy.
Yes.
Good work.
Thank you, Asher. And then, gosh, it's been so long that in February, the 1st of February, we hit the ground running the first of the year, because we were sponsors of the Autism Health Summit, and that we went as part of our business. But ministry, business, it all, I mean, we don't have really much separation with any of that. It's just all together.
Right.
And we showed up at the Autism Health Summit, and we were super excited to be there. And in some ways, the business aspect of the event was a complete flop. I mean,
not
complete.
In some ways.
In all the ways.
In all the ways. In all the ways.
However, the opportunities that presented itself, number one, because God told us to go there. And number two, to build relationships with the autism community in a new way that we hadn't before. And we had opportunities to pray over people. It was a neat mixture of parents coming to the event who either recently had a child diagnosed with autism or had been on this journey for a long time, and then a mixture of all of these healthcare professionals there as well. And we had amazing opportunities to pray over moms, to pray over families. Jim had the opportunity to even pray over a young girl, a young adult with autism herself, and pray over her and her boyfriend, as well as share the gospel with them. And it was neat to see how God kept drawing her to our booth over and over and over throughout was it the 2-day event, 3-day event? I can't remember. It was very long. But it was so fantastic, and I still look back on that as an amazing opportunity that God had, and we just pray that those seeds that were planted then will continue on. And if God gives us an opportunity to go back to the Autism Health Summit, next year it will be in San Diego, California. So if you get an opportunity to attend, if you're either a professional or a parent or know someone who is a parent, please give them the information about the Autism Health Summit. It was really fantastic because it was parent-led. It was so heart-led that it was really neat. Several of the healthcare professionals mentioned that to us about how unusual it was for them to be at an event that was parent-led, and how really a nice change it was for them. So yeah. But as we end, because I know this has been long, one of our prayer requests, and I feel like the theme for this is kind of being prepared, but we've just really felt this sense of urgency to be more prepared, and be more prepared in the sense that we want to build community, and in some ways we feel stifled in that. I know that sounds odd because we have a great community of travelers, and we make community wherever we go in small ways, but I guess deepening a local community. And so many of you already have that, and it's beautiful. If you don't, seek it out. But then also being prepared with food. We would love to steward land, and that's something we continue to ask God for. And so I hope that if you have land that you, and I don't mean, when I say land, I don't mean like 20 acres. I mean like if you have 4 inches, you know, of land, which it looks like we have a lot of land here, but none of this is ours, so we can't grow anything here. But if you have, you know, anything at all, I hope that you look into stewarding that land well, and look into food forest building or gardening or even herb garden, that you can grow not only for yourself, but maybe to your neighbors as well, to be a blessing to them. So what do you want to share about that, Jim?
I think it's part of the idea that when we look back on our country and we think about what it meant to be American, it was the pull yourself up by your bootstraps independence, and that we have begun to, instead of relying on bartering with our neighbors, saying, look, I've got all this lettuce and tomatoes, and you have a saddle shop, and I need a saddle, so let's trade, and how can we make this work? We've gone to a place where I just have money that I use to buy things. And while that simplified life for us in many ways, at the same time, we became dependent on the value of that money as opposed to the value of our goods and the things that we had that we could commoditize in ways. And so just an encouragement to go back to the sense of being able to take care of ourselves and our neighbors, in some small way. And what are the things that I can do to be a part of that? If I have skills, or if I have products, or anything that I can bring to the table. You know, a lot of people would, hey, I can shoe your horse and take care of it that way.
You know what brings to my mind too? We're in this such now, for lack of a better term, Amazon culture now, where whatever we need, we just go online and purchase it, and it takes the relationship aspect out of all of it, right? Bartering, you know, not that we have to do all bartering, but bartering per se, it keeps the relationship going, right? You have to develop relationships in order to barter something with someone. And the Amazon culture of life takes all that out. And as we know that God is, our creator is in the business of building relationships, and so if we want to join him in building relationships, it would behoove us to go back to some of those things. And I'm not saying we necessarily have to forego it all, but what are some ways that we can make shifts in being more prepared and being and building that community? That's our prayer for you, and that is our prayer for ourselves as well as we move forward. And so we'll share some more prayer requests in the email itself that you're receiving, along with a bunch of pictures of some of the things that we've talked about. And I pray that we will hear from you. We want to hear from you what God's doing in your life, and so we thank you. We covet your prayers, and we thank you for that. We look forward to talking to you not so long from now.
And not as long a time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.